It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today I've got a beer from Marks and Spencer, which I probably should have reviewed years ago. It's one of those beers. I go into Marks and Spencer's, I go, oh, there's the beer, there's the beer. For me, it's always low down on the shelf. Whether you have the same kind of situation with the beer in your Marks and Spencer, but it's always low down and kind of like, you never really look to the floor, do you, when you're buying beer? Fun fact, real fun fact, people or big breweries pay for eye line shelving. Something in your eye line, you'll probably see Carlin, Foster's, San Miguel, that sort of thing, because the breweries actually pay for it to be on eye line. You can actually sell beer eye line level, or whatever. You want to sell your cheesecake in Tesco, you can stick it on eye line level and you pay a kind of premium for that. But the stuff low down, you just don't tend to look at the floor, do you? And that's probably the reason why it's taken me so many years to review this beer. It's £3 a bottle in Marks and Spencer, and this is the Belgian cherry wheat beer. Doesn't it sound fantastic? It's only 3.5% ABV, 3.5% ABV, 330 milliliter bottle, and you've got there the elephant. It's brewed by Brewery Hugh. And you've got the elephant there. It looks like you've got a massive boxing glove on. 330 milliliter bottle, gold bottle cap. Let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. So the noise in the background is the cat chewing his way, I can see him doing it through the window, chewing his way through a bag of, ripping the paper off the side of it. Cat food. He's only just been fed. He's literally biting through the cat food, the paper bag, to get to his food. Look at the colour on this. Look at this. Wow. Wow, my goodness me, look at that. So we got a one finger pink head. Lovely pinky coloured head. Good levels of carbonation. Being a wheat beer, I was struggling to find a glass. I was going to stick it in one of these kind of like bulb glasses, but I thought to myself I won't. This is more suited to like a cherry wheat beer, this nice Cloudwater glass here. So there's not much in the way of sediment in the bottom of the glass. There might be some sediment in the bottle there. We'll get to that in a moment. I need to sip some of this beer. So aroma then, it's slightly hazy to look at. Aroma. It's very cherry-like. It smells like Tunes or Hall Soother's cherry flavour. That typical, if you want something to taste like cherry, then you use that. I don't know, it might be concentrated cherry juice for all I know. We'll have a look at the bottle in a moment. But it's a very strong cherry flavour with not much else going on in the aroma. There's a slight bit of that wheat beer, but it's going to be a tough ask tasting any wheat beer in any Belgian wit. It's a Belgian wit style beer. It's going to be tough to taste any wheat, I think. Let's get in. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, it's cherry. It's big. It's got a nice mouthfeel. It's got a lovely kind of slightly creamy, rich mouthfeel going on. Is there any sediment now in the bottom of the glass? Not really, not really. It's very cherry-like. But very refreshing. I can see what... So this has been brewed specifically for Marks and Spencer's. This is a Marks and Spencer's, specially brewed for Marks and Spencer's. It says so on the front of the bottle here. So I believe they've brewed this beer for a reason. I believe this beer has been brewed... It's quite clever, actually. If you know your beer, you can go to Marks and Spencer. You can buy a decent Suffolk bitter brewed by Marks and Spencer. You can buy a Czech Pilsner brewed by Marks or brewed for Marks and Spencer. You can buy a German Pilsner brewed for Marks and Spencer. You can buy a Belgian cherry wheat beer brewed for Marks and Spencer. So they've got, I think they do like a chocolate stout as well, and a few others. So you go in there into Marks and Spencer's generally with a choice. There's a great variation. You can buy yourself a decent bitter, a decent European lager, a decent Belgian cherry wheat beer. Your options are very much open for you. It's not like you're going into, say, Morrison's and you're faced with slabs and slabs of Foster's and slabs of Carling and Stella Artois and San Miguel. It's more... I'm trying to say this in a very polite way, because Marks and Spencer's are, like, my parents would never go to Marks and Spencer's. Absolutely. They wouldn't walk through the door because it's a... How can I put it politely? They always see it as just expensive. It's just an expensive shop. But for me, I see Marks and Spencer's in a very, very different way. So I've started to buy... I was sick to death. I was buying my meat. I know this is a beer review, and I'll be very quick with this. But I was buying my meat in Lidl and Aldi. And I was sick to death of cutting away so much fat off the chicken breasts that I was buying, and a lot of it was going in the bin. It was rubbish. The quality was awful. For a little bit more money, you can buy chicken breasts in Marks and Spencer's, and you're cutting off minimal fat, and they're great quality, and everything's just a little bit better. So I don't see it as this expensive shop. I see it as, well, you certainly have a choice here, don't you, with this cherry wheat beer. You definitely have got a different choice. Other than, God, like if you went to Lidl or Aldi, that's a different spectrum, isn't it? I shop all the time in Lidl and Aldi, I really do. But I just don't buy my meat there anymore. I just like sick to death of the meat there. And maybe some of the vegetables as well. It seems to go off very quickly from Lidl and Aldi. But back to the beer, I'm going to rate it. You get my point, or you get why I've brought this subject up in a beer review, is because it's specialist stuff in Marks and Spencer's, isn't it? So a little bit of wheat, lots of flavour, lots of cherry flavour really. Cherry dominates all the way through. It's got a nice creamy, rich mouthfeel. You'd never really think it was a 3.5% ABV beer. It's a brewery hug. I tell you what it tastes like. It tastes like a very, very light ABV version of Delirium Tremens. The fruit version. I like it enough to give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.